Hey, welcome to Graphic Policy Television, GPTV. I'm Pryde. In my hands is Marauders #1, the issue kicking off the latest series as part of Dawn of X, spinning out of House of X and Powers of 10. It's an interesting comic. It's definitely different than what I was expecting. Not quite what I was expecting, really. So written by Gerry Duggan, who's I generally really like his writing. Matteo Loli is the artist. Federico Blee is the colorist. Cory Petit is the letterer. Tom Muller is the designer. Covered by Russell Dauterman and Matthew Wilson with a whole bunch of variants. So what's the concept of this? So there are mutants stuck throughout the world who cannot get to Krakoa, who is not being allowed to go through the various bridges that exist, and the Marauders' job is to go out and save those mutants. It's an interesting comic in a bunch of ways. It definitely does not quite, it's not quite as exciting as I would hope. But the concept is really interesting, and I think the concept's interesting in ways that aren't explored in the comic itself, which is which I find fascinating and I hope is there. It also hints at a lot to come that's not quite laid out, but I think we know where it's going. Kate Pryde is the leader of this group, who is recruited by Emma Frost. She's the one funding this, and it seems like their whole thing is going to be, one, liberating these mutants who are being held by various countries and not being able to get to Krakoa, and then the other is dealing with the medicine that is being doled out by their nation and has something to do with black markets, which seems to be kind of fascinating. Emma actually has a really interesting statement when she's talking to Kate, whatever you want to call her, where she says, so it's called the Hellfire Trading Company is the one that is going to be dealing with it. And this just says, shipping corporations were often ruthless slavers. Our organization will probably defy that horrific history, will be liberators, which is, I thought, something that is really great to be addressed. So Gerry Duggan clearly knows the connotation with the trading company, because immediately I think of Dutch East Trading Company, and it's not a great thing. The other interesting is that pirates and piracy in general has kind of a mixed history. Some of it is bad, some of it was good, and defying global power. So there's a really interesting mixed history I hope is explored a lot in this comic, and it's kind of danced around in this. The other is the fact that these mutants, who themselves have their own nation where humans aren't allowed, are just traipsing on other nations to liberate their fellow mutants. So there's a thing about sovereignty that's there that, again, is danced around but not quite addressed. And I'm hoping someone sits there and just outright says, like, you're violating our sovereignty, like you yourselves claim that you want your own sovereignty, but you aren't respecting ours. So I think that will be kind of fascinating to see if that's explored down the road. But overall, like, this lays the groundwork for what should be an interesting team, gives a little bit more history as to some of the folks that have been brought back, what's going on with Krakoa and mutants around the world. It's kind of a, I don't want to say this is their X-Force, but this is a very interesting kind of still underground, not really underground, but like disassociated organization, doesn't want to quite be associated with the X-Men. So there's a lot of concepts here that are laid out, and I'm kind of mixed on the issue. Like, it's not bad, it's not great, it's a lot of good. Definitely a lot of stuff that I think sets up interesting concepts in the future. Whether or not this explores that, I'm not quite sure. Okay, we're not allowed to show the first few pages. So let me try to get some art that maybe I can show. We'll do this because they released this art at least. So we're gonna show off this art where Emma is talking to Kitty. As I said, I'm not allowed to show off the first like 5 pages or so. There is some really fascinating stuff in there that we got to explore. This series looks like you're gonna be exploring, and I think a lot of people will be discussing exactly what it means. But overall, it's an okay issue. I think it's the weaker of the two when it comes to this and X-Men. And definitely, like, not quite as good as House of X, Powers of 10, Powers of X, whatever you want to call it. So, yeah, a little bit of mixed. So it's out now in comic shop, or will be out this Wednesday, this week, in comic shops. Not out now. We're doing this a little day early, thanks to Marvel lifting the embargo. You can go get it. We got a link beneath this video where you can go find comic shops, go and put your zip code, tell if a shop's near you. No shop, no problem. We do have affiliate links. There are affiliate links, so we get a small percentage of that. By doing that, you help support our site, though, so thank you so much for that. And as always, now, I want to thank Marvel for hooking us up with this review copy. We always appreciate it, and thank you for watching. Now, if you're into Marvel, if you're into comics, if you're into X-Men, check us out every single day at graphicpolicy.com. We're on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Tumblr, all that graphic policy, keeping it nice and consistent. So until next time, keep reading those comics and keep it geeky. Hey, thanks for watching the previous video from Graphic Policy Television. Just by watching, you help support our site. Thank you so much. Now, if you're watching these videos, you probably care about geeky things like movies, television, comic books, toys, games, video games, you name it. You can go and subscribe right now to our YouTube channel to stay in touch and catch all the new videos, or check out our website at graphicpolicy.com. There's a nice link on this end of the video. But as always, thank you for watching. Keep on rocking and keep it geeky.